Alright, so now it's Sunday afternoon. I'm trying to get motivated to get back to work. It's been really hot out last week, and just one thing after another, after another, after another, after another. Yeah. Thursday, it started with Thursday. I drove stepdaughter into a supposedly date, and she didn't stay where she was supposed to, so I ended up looking for her. Was not happy. Her mom was not happy. Yeah, just not even my daughter, trying to teach her how to, I don't know, do what she's told. I don't know, go to the limb. Anyway, let's get back to work on hand here. We're going to need to tighten the tracks today, and we need to clean up the other side grease fittings on Tankenstein. Went to the military show yesterday. It was all weekend, Friday, Saturday and Sunday at Odessa, Ontario by Kingston. There is a name for the group, but I can't remember. I'll post a link to their site down here if I can remember. Yeah, I joined their club. Anyway, it's only $20 membership fee. It's a good time. Lots of vehicles there. We got to ride in a tank, well, an APC carrier, which was very cool. I was trying to get around to talking to guys on Big Bart, but they were busy with a whole bunch of people around them. So yeah, would have been awesome to ride Big Bart. If you guys don't know what Big Bart is, look up Oshawa Tank Museum, I think it's called. Probably not what it's called, but you'll see it there. It's been in some movies too, I guess. Anyway, we're gonna get ahead and tighten the tracks on this, grease it, and we had a flat tire Friday night after we put the tank on. So it's been one problem after another. Actually, no, that was I loaded up Saturday morning, and that's yeah, it just become like snowball effect. Three things happened bad right in a row. We had to weld the Tankenstein shifter in there because the bracketry broke down here where the tire arm comes up, and this whole thing went back, and now it's having a hard time staying in reverse, locking itself. So I'm thinking about I can't stretch these springs out inside of there. It's not strong enough to hold the weight of this column up, so I'm thinking about putting a piece of vacuum hose right in there so I can still squash it down. Just kind of cut it too and put it over top. I need to get new seats for this too. Holy, there's all kinds of shit to do. And the good old TerraJet. I'm not even motivated to work on this thing right now. I don't know. It's losing interest. I got a bolt that fine threaded standard, 3/8 standard fits. 4-inch I put in there, I think it was, and it's not long enough. So, and yeah, one of my subscribers said coil's on backwards, or it's not the right one. Anyway, but it runs. So I don't know how much of this we're going to get into. It would be easier to just put a Skidoo engine into it. I've been told that the horseshoes don't match the flywheel, so you can see how close they are right there. Just touching already. I mean, someone told me it says should say on there somewhere flywheel side, or where it's on backwards, and then somebody else told me that these horseshoes didn't match the flywheel, so it's not going to work right either. So anyway, the other problem is, and I can't remember your name, you are right, the secondary clutch is meant for 2-stroke, which revs higher, which is going to make problems with this engine because it doesn't rev as high. It probably could tear it apart and change the springs. I know on a Skidoo you used to be able to loosen it off or tighten it so it'll open up sooner or after. I don't know. And we're missing a master cylinder up here for the hydraulic disc brake. It's all kinds of stuff. This is never going to get done right away, so we'll just pick at it slowly, see what we can do. And I really want to get onto these tracks. That's the problem. And we have the trike. Just I'm having a hard time deciding what to do next, but I need to tighten the tracks and grease that while I have it out. Another issue I'm having is with my car. When I bought it, the left rear wheel bearing is gone. I kept driving it. I drive the top down, so most of the times they can't really hear it, but just driving it around with the top up yesterday, I could hear it's getting really loud, so I need to take care of that. Probably needs an axle and a bearing and all kinds of fun. Problem is Tankenstein is probably not going to fit in here, so I don't know if I should take it apart here. That might be the best thing to happen to it. If only I had to take one side out, it'll be alright, because I got enough room there. Take two sides out, that's going to be a problem. Alright, so we're going to start with the other side. I'm going to have to heat the other side up, so while I get the MIG welder out and all that good stuff, we're going to... Oh, Jesus! Maybe we'll loosen off, maybe we won't. Oh, God damn it. Probably should have sprayed them first. Yeah, that one wasn't taking very much. It's good. Now, if this one goes good, then we'll have it made. Now, last time I tightened this track, this side, or was it the other side now? I can't remember. Outrageous Acts of Science was out. I think it was the other side that fell off. They didn't show that on their video. Alright. See, that's got the ratchet on it. But I don't know if it'll ratchet. Let's try it. Oh. Now we got ourselves a big pipe because my adjustment system is messed up on this thing. Looks like I'm going to have to clean out, but it's not right. I'll give you guys a close-up shot of this. You'll explain what's going on in there. Alright, that little wedge right there is supposed to let you, well, maybe they're in backwards. I was assuming it was supposed to let you pull it back and it would stay after you got it, but the way those teeth are shaped, it looks like it would go the other way. Maybe they have side switched on this. Maybe they're not right. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to have to pull it back and hold it there and then tighten that up. Because I don't think it's going to slide through there. So we'll do it that way. Alright. So what I've done is I tightened the top bolt up a bit. Enough to drag. Maybe it'll hold it there for me. I need these tracks right about there. That almost looks perfect. Now I just hold that and tighten it. We'll have it made. Maybe a bit tighter because these are gonna loosen off again as I drive it. There's probably slack in the bottom half of that. And it let go some more. We'll give her another try. Just give me a minute. There's got to be an easier way to tighten this. You can see it moving back as I let go. If it stayed there, I'd be happy. We know that's not going to happen. Okay. If I had two guys, this would be perfect. A longer pipe. I'm doing there is probably flexing this thing. Just playing that bearing. I don't think I have to. Alright. Let's go ahead and just tighten it down. Did it make a difference? I don't think so. A little bit. To be honest with you, I don't think I even moved it. It looked like it tightened up, but the side here, well, this side here is the side I threw off, I think. That reaches X science, so yeah, let's just look at the distance there between that bogey and the track. And this distance between this bogey and that track, it looks the same. Well, maybe we'll leave the other side alone. Let's go ahead and clean these buttons up. These tracks used to have a tightener on the front here, and you can see where that was. Now this thing was probably hanging out front here a little bit, and I suspect the guy cut it off because they're hitting stuff with it, and it was catching on it. So someone's chopped it off here and here, so it can no longer pull the adjuster. There's a tool that goes in there. But anyway, make the best of what we got. I think I'm leaving the other side alone. Now these grease fittings are all plugged up, and there is, you know, we could probably fiddle around it and find some grease fittings to go in there, but I'd like to keep this style on here if I can. So let's go ahead and take that out. It's a 5/8, and there's a pile of them on this thing. I'm not going to quote you. Don't quote me on where they are, because there's a whole bunch of them, and I might miss one. So. All you have to know is it has to be greased. So take all these out, and you can see the grease is really dry. So we're going to go in here and dig that out as much as we can. Now this thing should be torn apart completely and cleaned, but I don't have the shop to do that in right now, so we're not going to do that, because that would turn it into a few months worth of work. You see the mess I have in there, and the old thing's falling down. Now all you got to do is go in here and dig out what you can. It doesn't look like there's anything in there. That's a needle greaser. But okay, so that part is cleaned out, good enough, I guess. And what I do is take this in here, and you can take some brake clean and clean that out. This one isn't too bad. And there's a spring in there, so be careful. You need to clean that all out of there. And then we'll take this on the wire brush and reinstall it. Alright, so just take a grinder, the wheel on it, or clean her up. See the mess there. Now you can see right on it, it says Made in Canada. How often do you see that now? Or Made in USA. You never see that. This thing was made in Windsor, Canada by the Ford Corporation. So let's go through to the rest of them and get her greased up. Alright, let's put her back in there. You can see that ledge sits in there too, so you might want to make sure that hole's cleaned out a little bit. It kind of seals against the water, I think. Not that this one will ever see water again, but I imagine that's what it was for. Okay, all I have here is a needle greaser, and I screwed it right into the end, took the other tip off. This grease gun will never, I'll never have the other type of grease in there again, like the fitting. So I'll get a second grease gun for the cars. And it might not take too much, because like I said, these holes are plugged up all the way in there. I mean, after time it wears in, it'll help it some, and it'll start coming out. But what I should do is rip this whole thing completely apart, redo everything, get away fly, and then that'll be good. But right now, like I said, I don't have time. So we're just going to go through and see if I can grease the whole thing, clean the grease fittings up, get her done. Okay, after 8 fittings each side, you got 1 here on each wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the idler wheel. So that's 16 in total and a tube of grease. And it'll still take more. I don't think anybody greased Tankenstein in a long time, so I got some bearing issues to take care of. Maybe we'll order bearings for it over the winter. It's too much right now. Anyway, let's see how she goes. I did tighten that track, but you wouldn't notice it unless it was a lot looser than that. But yeah, that should be alright. Let's take it for a rip. Alright, we just did some little driveway driving. I think I'll put that in a separate video. Anyway guys, I just greased Tankenstein. Not too much going else around today. I think I have to go get groceries later, so I'm going to pick my mess up here. And you can see a little bit of the carnage. Smacked that old forge, hit the tree, I don't know where. Anyway, messed the driveway up a little bit, had some fun. All good fun. As always, please comment, rate, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Hit the subscribe button right there, wherever that is.